Cool. Mr. Shane Line, you're the headliner tonight.
All right. Well, I have a kind of a dark song to finish with. This is
Oh, good.
on Steve Earle's album Cortisone, and it's about a town that's just south of the town that I grew up in Pennsylvania. Called He calls it Taneytown on the album, but we pronounced it Taneytown when I grew up, when I was living there. But it tells a pretty good story. It's fictional, I guess. And he decided to set it in this area because he is a Civil War buff, apparently. But this isn't about the Civil War. It's hard to know what period of time it's set in. But anyway, it's called.
He also gives a really nice and subtle nod to Guy Clark in this song.
Really?
But I'll go nuts on that later.
Okay, yeah, you please, because all right. And this is, when he does it, it's electric, and he uses a lot of heavy minor chords, like in a Neil Young style. But I'm gonna do it on acoustic guitar. So. I went down to Taneytown. I went down to Taneytown to see what I could see. My mama told me never to go. I'm damn near 22 years old. Sometimes I think this holler swallowed me. She ran off to Gettysburg, went off with that new beau of hers. I snuck off after dark. It's a long way down the county road. The stars were bright and the moon was low, down to where the blacktop highway starts. I went down to Taneytown. I went down to Taneytown. I went down to see what I could see. Now everybody stared at me. You think that they ain't never seen a colored boy before. Well, they chucked at me and called me names. They'd have whooped me sure, but the sheriff came. I slipped off, ran through the dry goods store. I ran down Division Street. Some of them boys, they followed me down to the railroad track. There's 4 of them and I can't fight, but I had my old Randall knife. I cut that boy, I never did look back. I went down to Taneytown. I went down to Taneytown. I went down to see what I could see. Across the fields and the woods I run like a bullet from a rabbit gun. back home to my bed. Now Mom came in from Gettysburg, her and that new beau of hers. Boy, you look like hell, is all she said. A month went by without a word. Somebody down the holler heard about that boy they hung. He begged those men to spare his life, but I dropped my bloody Randall knife. He picked it up, so they thought he was the one. Yeah. Well, I went down to Taneytown. I went down to Taneytown. I ain't going back there anymore.
Nice.
Wow.
Now,
Nice.
is the Randall knife what you were talking about, Draper? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, so tell me more.
Well, Guy Clark has a song. It's really about his father, but it's called "The Randall Knife."
Okay.
If you don't know it, listen to it. It's maybe the best song he wrote, and I think it's one of the best songs ever written. Period. It's just a remarkable song.
I've really just been learning more about Guy Clark in the last year or so. I mean, you guys talk about him a lot, and I had heard of him for sure, but
I still have that book waiting for you there, Shane Line. So
yeah.
But look up his song "Randall Knife."
Okay.
And the thing that's interesting to me is about that, because after that song, I'm like, what's the Randall knife? Well, in Guy Clark's song, his dad gets it and carries the Randall knife through World War II.
well, it was a huge knife that all kinds of World War II guys got, right? It was the knife to have, right? Yeah.
It wasn't an issue knife. It was a special purchase.
Right.
And it was expensive.
And people would actually sponsor, they'd buy knives for servicemen, right? And stuff, right? They'd buy a Randall knife. Yeah.
The company's still in business. You pay up front and you wait. I think they have like a 4-year wait
Yeah.
to get their knives.
Well, I should definitely know that if I'm going to do that song.
But yeah, listen to Guy Clark's.
Yeah. Well, I gotta go. I gotta close chickens up.
All
It was
right.
seeing you all.
Great to
Yeah,
see
it's good
you
to see you
again.
too. Yeah. Good to see you, Barb.